revise a bit, or it's okay to just proceed from here? Okay, initially how we start, we insert the cat file, sorry, the link file, right? After that, we analyze, correct? Where is the palette location? After that, you decide which one you want to do. Now remember, this first story toilet, there's no ceiling. So I believe second story either have ceiling, no ceiling. You guys go and do, you should know. As only I know, first story, there's no ceiling. So you guys got to look out for that, all right? Now, after that, you will need to determine the cubicle, because once you have WC, you must have cubicle, all right? All these standards, huh? And I did ask you a question, right? Why WC was configured, excuse me, nearer to the what do you call it, the closer to the drain pipes here. All right, hopefully you understand, because of liquid is easier to flow. Sheets, I mean waste, are sometimes difficult to clear, and also they cannot be stay there for too long. Yeah, so all these bowel smell, whatever, they got to clear. Of course, this might not be one. I mean, this might be one of the reason. Of course, they have more, and because sanitary is done or built via the gravity, so there's a sloping or sloping percent. So I was told by the industry, I mean, when I teach them, they told me it's around 1 meter is to 9 meter. That means the slope percent. So when you prepare this, you can take that as the calculation, 1 versus 9. All right, so from there, you have the slope percent. Now, before I continue further, okay, so remember, we got to set our setting to ensure that we are doing plumbing. Okay, mine keep on changing because I teach Aki, I teach plumbing, so I got to remember or remind myself to adjust the back. Yep. Now, second, when you are doing this plumbing, same as mechanical, right? Don't eager to do whatever call it design first and so on. The environment setup need to be done first. Meaning, if you are doing mechanical or plumbing, you know that mechanical, that's a setting. So this, your split dialog box or MS mechanical setting, is the same as your HVAC. So ideally, you try to type MS. It's faster that way, right? Okay, so it's out. So from here, since sanitary is all about piping, so piping, you need to ensure that you have the text height, that's configuration, C size. 3 mm actually is quite big. You can set like back to AutoCAD, similar. Yeah. Okay, give me a minute. Vina just in. Let me take her attendance. Okay, so since 1-2 minutes back. Okay, assume you're pleasant. So let me recapture your attendance again. Yeah. File save as, back into this. Okay, right. Uh, taken attendance, right? Yep. Okay, so back here. Um, this is when you are doing for your documentation. So remember, I think we have one session to talk about all the documentation. One session we got to talk about the what do you call that? Suddenly I forget. That day last week you guys keep telling me was telecommunication. So here I would like to adjust it. Let's say prefix, suffix, pipe size, diameters. This US they put it behind. Is here we want to a diameter. How to place this diameter? See that? Singapore, the diameter symbol we put in front, right? Correct. So how to put it here? Can I copy and paste? Yeah. So that means behind I don't want. Because behind normally we put the mm. We don't call it 25 diameter, then mm. It's diameter 25 mm normally lah. For I think engineering. Okay. This is the US. So I don't know, is it people just accept as it is or what? Anyway, some other value here. See like down from top. They just put ST. Since Singapore hour is what? We measure what? BOD, bottom of duct. So bottom of duct means set down from bottom. Agree? So all those terms, I will say that you guys might want to change when going to the real world, because this is the US, just their way of presenting. But Singapore, I think we have our way of presenting. Commonly used, or I saw the label is BOD lah. Oh, bottom of duct, which is here, they don't have it. If they have, we can do some changes. So I think it's easy. So all the text size is quite big, 3 mm. So let's say I change it to 2, for instance. Yeah. No, I don't know why the size is very big. That's why I prefer 2. 2 is, if you compare to AutoCAD 2.5 mm, it's almost the same size. But there are 3 is super huge. I don't know why. Or let's say super huge are quite big. Okay. Pipe connector tolerance 5 degree. That means they can bend right 5 degree. Okay, that means you see how rigid all right, for the piping itself to connect. Okay. So all these things, try to do a simple setup. All right. After that, the angles, that means you draw your pipe, whether it's your steel pipe, your PVC kind of thing. Of course, PVC always 90 degrees lah, unless you get your fitting is like 45. So 45, you can have up to 45 flexible up and down, plus minus. So can be 40 or 50. So all this you can configure. Conversion, for instance, this is important. Plumbing, we have 2 different pipe or even 3, like copper, stainless steel, and PVC. And depends on what type of system you are using. For instance, our hot and cold water. Hot and cold water normally will be stainless steel or copper. So you need to configure. Then how they do the measurement, measure from where. So all this can be preset. Of course, currently here it says standard. We have like copper pipe itself or stainless steel pipe. Or what type of stainless steel? What type of specification on copper? Now is we don't have anything. So can we create? Yes, because the template currently we don't have it. Later, I will show you how this can be done. Okay. Then of course, main and branch. Like how we do our ducting. So main is what color? Blue, right?
Yeah.
So your branch, what is type? And you can see that sanitary is PVC. So there's no elevation preset for it. Okay, all this can be adjusted. If you don't adjust, you can see that later we add this sanitary pipe. This car is floating on the surface. Gravity means they must be lower or different from the standards. That means the floor level, it should be lower, cannot be higher. So always lower. Okay, so let's say you guys follow your notes. If you never look at my video, your notes on this tutorial is minus 350, which is, to me, I feel is not sufficient, because the bigger the duct size, sorry, the pipe size, the fitting angles or radius is wider. So if your drop is not enough, they'll give you an error. So here, to prevent they give us error, I would like to set this minus 550. Yeah, for all of them. Minus 550. Because I tried before the minus 350. Very close shave and tends to give us a lot of error, a lot of problem. So when you experience in this, then you can say recommend. Now, first story, we can set any height we want, but subsequently, you go to second and third, you guys got to be careful. Why? Because this one is go to basement or underground. All right. If I go to second story, your pipe will appear at the ceiling or on the slab of your first floor. So it cannot be too low. So all these adjustment we need to know. So that's why we need to know at least what is the reflected ceiling height. So it cannot be lower than that. Okay. Yeah. So all this planning you need to do. Okay. Understand that. So temporarily I set this. Okay. Pipe size, or you can change. See, copper A, copper B, copper C. We have stainless steel, PVC, not here. Huh? Yeah, I think PVC, this one. Polyvi,
Yes, sir. The one.
yeah, this one, right? There are two. So I have schedule 40 and 80, only two. Iron ductile is something that, right? I believe this is used for what? Sanitary pipe. Is it? Mainly not at the floor, it's at the basement. Sorry, I mean underground type. I think so. But all Singapore, we don't do this. I'm not very sure. Steel carbon. Carbon steel do what? What can be used? Currently, we won't have this few lah, but in future, if you guys need, you can create. Remember, see, new pipe segment. Okay, so copper we have ABCD. I don't know what's ABCD. Could be the model, the type. Yeah. Okay, so remember that. Now, fluid. What type of fluid? What type of fluid can be filtered or thrown into the sewage? All right, it's collecting beam kind of thing. So here you can create. All right, I don't know whether what's the term here, Singapore, the waste or chemical content. All right, yeah. So you guys to look into it. Sloping or slopes. This is the one that, as I say, every toilet they have a different measurement or angle tolerance. All right. So here for this special tutorial, it was given to us the sloping percent is 1.05. So you need to create it. So that means in the project, you need to go and actually measure, all right, what is the toilet they have. Not say what's the toilet, what is the distance that when you're going to do the layout. So you got to plan all this. So end of the day, when you use it, you can simply select from here, right? So you can delete, you can create new. So from here now, let's create a new one, which is 1.05. No need to worry about the percent. It'll be auto added. All right. So click OK will do. You can see it doesn't exceed 5. All right, cannot because when the distance get longer, the percentage will be actually wider. Yeah, so that's why it says it's 1:9. Okay, so once all this set, then you can pick OK. Calculation wise, this is I think for hydraulic lah. Hydraulic means your aircon. How the chiller there, then they pump the water back. Okay, so this is the one here for the calculation. So I'm going to click OK. All good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then let's create them into system network. As you know, if I prefer to draw manually, it will still create as the network system. But the tricky part here is this main pipe here. I want it to be managed by the system. Okay, so if let's say you are doing the ladies and the guys toilet, if you guys want to do 2, then here should have 2 piping. But if 2 piping, I can tell you that this space here is very congested, too close to one another. All right, so that's why I'm only focused on one toilet. If you need to do 2, normally it should be opposite direction. That means if you are doing the guys toilet, your piping should stay more on this side. If you are doing the girls toilet, then your toilet, the piping should be on here. Now, the thing is, if you measure the width here, you have only 361, which is a very close pipe. So when it's close, another word, you notice that you might you want to decide, hey, what should be my main PVC pipe size? You know, so if I'm going to select this WC, you notice that this one only have 25, which is only 1. Actually, there's overlap. Why I say overlap? They should have 2 value. See this one? Sanitary is 100. So in other words, your pipe size here, minimum is 100. All right. Yeah. For fluid like urine, wastewater, 100 mm pipe is not a problem. It's actually this. Okay. So sometimes you got to decide. All right. Not say you decide. Sometimes also on the flow lah. Cost is one thing. Okay. All right. So since it's 100, I have 361. So actually I can place 2. Okay, so you got to decide how you're going to put it later on. Okay, Ken? Okay, good. So no questions, I'll proceed. So how to create them as a network system? I will select any one of them first. Let's say I pick this guy. You see that there is plumbing fixture, piping, piping. If I pick this, piping. So same, you are creating piping system. So piping system, you can see they have sanitary, domestic, cold. Why? Because they understand that here got two connection. If I cancel, I select the other one, which is here, which is I have three connections: hot water, cold water, wastewater. I mean sanitary. So if I say A, piping, you see the system type. They will allow me to choose up to three. But the base, when you say plumbing for toilet, is always default sanitary first. Yeah, this is the practice. Okay, so irregardless which one you select, they'll go for the sanitary first. Okay, all good. Okay, all right. So here I would like to change the sanitary. So this is at room, I think 219. If not, then you might say sanitary, not one, maybe level one male. All right, or gents or whatever. Okay, for those, if you are ladies, you want to do the ladies one, please go ahead. So you can plan how many cubicle, or I will challenge you guys, try to do two at one go. I want to see how good you are at that. You can solve the mystery, solve the solution. It will benefit you in future because all these are quite tight. If you notice BCA, you know, the academic tower, the left side and the right side, in between, you will see there's a sanitary. There's a door around maybe 5 to 600. Right? That is where the male and female or the piping connecting inside. Yeah. We can't open, it's locked. If you can open, you can take a look inside. See how they do the connection in school there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's say I put the sanitary L1 male and I select open. Why? Because I have more thing to add into the piping system. Okay. All good.
Yes, sir.
So I click OK. Yeah. Then you are in the piping system. Okay. So we need to add the sanitary, also called the component here, and you can see sanitary color is green. Okay, so pick them, select, select. See, or you prefer to window, it's the same. Okay, when done, finish. If you are connected, you see them in green color. But of course, when sometime components are shared, the color will change. As you guys know, right? Your aircon, the HU is shared with the exhaust, sorry, the return and supply. That's why it's black color. Okay, if not, it's magenta and blue. Huh? So all this you got to understand that. So we created the piping system. So have you all done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, huh? So once done, now this one here, if no adjustment, I can delete away, assuming the room cubicle is done. I'll delete them away. Then highlight any one of them. It'll give you other option because I don't need this anymore. You can see that I have other thing here. I want to generate the layout. Okay, so before generating the layout, how to see which is the correct arrangement? So in other words, I would like to do some planning, meaning not just from 3D. 3D, of course, you can get it from here, but you need to know how your piping runs. Okay, which is to the base, to the underground, or it doesn't go to level 2 and so on. So you got to plan the view. For instance, like your section view, how you like to view it. Okay. Now, meantime, before you generate anything in your tutorial, they're actually showing you are creating your pipe using your 3D view, which is very confusing because in 3D view, you can't draw pipes. If you can, they can only go certain direction unless you are at the 3D view, then you are drawing it either from like front lah, right lah, plan, that kind of thing. But to me, I feel like it's very annoying in the sense that sometimes your orientation can be very confusing because when 3D view, they utilize more memory. I rather do in kind of conventional, traditional method. It's like what you learn in your AutoCAD, first angle projection, meaning you have your front view, side view, and plan view. That kind of easy way to pick up because your tutorial, you are learning in 3D method. I teach you another method, which is you have two different method to or to how you want to design or create. Okay, which is I find it better that way. Okay, so let me close this first. How to plan that? First of all, your section line. Now, let's say if you decide that, okay, I only just want to do one. I would like to create my section line in the center. The center here represent meaning the center of my pipes. Meaning what? If you see closer, this is your main pipe at the center. Then this pipe going to connect here, this pipe going to connect here. Okay, so this cannot be go left or right. Normally to place in the center. So you place in the center, how to justify in the center? You need to have what? Something called reference plane. Okay, because when you do sectioning, you can't snap or determine, hey, exactly in the midpoint of the opening of this wall. You can see, you don't get to see any O snap. It doesn't come with it. See that? Don't have, right? Yeah. So if that's the case, then you need to get your reference plane. This is viewer, should be this one. So shortcut key for reference plane, RP. All right. So far, I haven't teach you reference plane yet. The mechanical, electrical, we don't use that yet. But from fire and plumbing, you need to use. Okay, because you use that to plan as a guide. Okay, in AutoCAD terms, we call them as construction line. Yeah, but here for Revit, because you're doing 3D, reference plane is needed. Especially in architecture, they use a lot. For MEP, unless you are learning customization, then you use a lot. If not, I'll feel that only the last two we need to use. That means your plumbing and your fire. Okay, so reference plane, you can see midpoint. I just have a snapping midpoint here. If it's too long, then you may want to make it shorter. But meantime, I just want to cut the wall. Okay, like that. Huh? Now, notice that reference plane, they can have a name. All right. Those that reference plane for temporary use, no need to put name, then forget it. You can even set their category if there's one. And as I said before, no need to worry about this unique line. It will not be printed. So no worries. Okay, all good. If okay, let's call in our section line. So I'm going to pick from on top here, 1 and 2 here, like this. Okay, now this guy looks quite big. So to make it smaller, you got to set your annotation scale to maybe 50 or 75. All right, just to make it smaller so that not overkill. Okay, all good. So where is this section? Okay, section is here. Remember. So quickly rename it. So let's say this is my section on my, this is AA, of course, one thing. The other thing, where is this located? That's more important. Level 1 male. Yeah. Male what? Male, put T lah. T means toilet lah. If you want to have a long file name, then please go ahead. If not, let's say level 1 underscore T, for instance. Toilet. Enter. So I have a proper naming. Yeah. This is temporarily at least. After that, to change it to, if you have anything that's related to this section here, then please move it. If not, name we done. Triple question marks. What's that means?
Need to
Sub.
change the location.
Sorry?
Change the
Subdiscipline,
sub-discipline.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So must clear. So you can see that they don't know which sub-discipline to go to. That's why this is something I find it quite interesting. Because you can see that here it says discipline is plumbing. Sub-discipline is plumbing. Plumbing means generally you have different pipe, So if you want to create this purely for like what? Sanitary, you may want to change it to sanitary. Yeah. But here, since if everyone agree use plumbing, then please go ahead. I just want to, in case, to differentiate it. All right. Because I think here you can provide to your technician next time or the installer separately. PVC, stainless steel, or sanitary. If it is installed by different person, so you can have different design or different drawing plans for that. This is how further you want to break down. Up to you. Okay, I won't force you. So change it to plumbing, remember. Then you go to your plumbing now. Always remember, clear your question marks. Yeah. Questions?
So
No. If no, let me stop recording. Because